Today I'm working on replacing we got a string that's just going bad, starting to shred inside of our Plush Bus machine. So we're going to try swapping that out. We're going to go ahead and extract these top Phillips screws. That took too long. Got a drill to try and expedite this process a little faster. I know there's only two, but alright, so I'm noticing one screw shorter than the other. I'm going to go ahead and mark so I don't lose that position for whatever reason. If they decide that one needs to be a shorter screw than the other, unless they just installed different screws at the factory, ran out, not sure. Pretty simple on this end. Just cut this line. Place it with our new one. Tie it in a knot. I'm going to get some super glue to dab on that to hold that all together. It's just to hold the knot together so it doesn't come untied in the game. And there's a notch in this part, so I'm at least going to put the notch back to the cable side. Putting the shorter screw on this end. Don't really see a reason or a necessity for a shorter screw, but it's there. Let's just put it back there. Said that was the easy part. Sure, step 2, the process of going through the crane box is going to take a little bit more detail. Alright, when I extracted this out, I just had to disconnect this main terminal plug, and there was I guess a bolt. It's a finger adjustment set screw. Came out of the front here, and that secured the cable channel to the top. And I went ahead and removed. There's another one from this base that I removed. Looks just similar to this. We'll go ahead and take this one out. That's what I took out of the other side. And I'm going to disconnect this cable from the bottom for a minute. I don't want to put any kinks in it. So now I can at least rest this flat and raise this cover panel up. Take a look on the inside. And you can see our string winds through, up through the base, through the bottom. little bit of leftover material from the old string. So I'm just going to backfeed it and run it through the same way that it came. Just to be sure to pay attention the way it's routed through the system. Goes up through the bottom. There's a central shaft that this pivots on the axle of this retainer, I guess. It would retain tension in the claw to let it know when it hits the base or hits the bottom. And I'll feed it between these two white buffers. Just got to extract the rest of this cable. I did buy 2 cables just in case I'd replace this one and I'd still have a spare if this happened again. Wouldn't have to wait for it to be ordered or delivered. Now thread this one back through this hole. I get all the kinks out of line, and we'll retie this end with a knot. Pull from both directions. Last time I had more to pull there, so I knew it wouldn't pull past when I pushed it like I'm going to do now. I'm going to put it right in my vice grips in the slide in that vice mouth. Go back to super gluing it. Pull all the tension back through. Should be it. Should be set up. Once it winds back up, it'll wind itself up. One thing I was going to do is I was going to check. I figured from the factory they'd send these strings the same length. I guess I'll guesstimate how much the knot would take, but I want to see that I didn't have to cut or trim anything. Ooh. I don't know, it might be a little excessively long. Hopefully it's not. I'll run a test. We'll run it up into the system, see if it has enough room on this spool to coil everything up. Start dropping the lid all back in together. all good to go. We'll go put it back in and I'll try it out. The first time it's winding the cable back up, I'm probably going to hold it with my fingers just to pinch a little tension to make sure that it's winding up on that spool evenly and equally as it goes across. Alright, so we're inside the Plush Bus. I disconnected this main power terminal at the back that drives the motor that shifts this whole chassis back and forth, so I can turn it on and it won't reset to the home position until I get everything reinstalled again. I'm just going to lift up my cabling here, tilt the box to one side, get it all the way in, then tilt the other side on, let it rest. Then I got my finger tightening bolts. I'll lift the channel cable keeper up, reattach the bolt at the bottom here. Feeling something's not right, so I'm backing the screw back out. I think it's got I think this cable has a keeper tab. It's got to go into the system to lock it in. Doesn't seem to be securing properly. There's a tab right here. I didn't notice that whenever I took it apart, but obviously the tab has to set down into the system to lock it in. That feels better. Now it's all locked down. I'm going to move it back over into the corner, power it off, connect the terminals, and then power it on and hold the cable as it tightens it up. So I'm all the way in the back, far corner of the home position. I haven't hooked up any of the terminal plugs yet, but I have to power it down so it's going to darken out here. Now I'm going to connect the terminal plugs back. Try to not get in the way here. Alright, now as I power it up, it's going to try and roll the cable up. Normally it would lower it to test it and then bring it back up, so I'm going to have to hold a little bit of tension maybe on this. Maybe not. The crane has enough weight it might hold it for me. I'm going to fire it up. All appears well. That's a new cable on a Plush Bus crane.